Hey, what's up, sports bettors? Matt here with OddsJam coming to you. How about a Thursday night preview for NFL Week 5 between the Colts and the Broncos? So I'm recording this on Monday. Monday Night Football hasn't happened yet, so I can't say that Week 4 is officially in the books, but it is unofficially in the books with only one game remaining. But in this video, we will be previewing Thursday Night Football between the disappointing Indianapolis Colts going to Denver to play the disappointing Denver Broncos. Admittedly, these are two teams that I have to take an L on at least 4 weeks into the season. I was high on the Colts. They were a dark horse team for me to get the 1 seed in the AFC because they had an easy schedule. I was also high on the Broncos because I think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. I thought they had a great defense. They had great weapons. I thought they had everything going for them. Little did I know that for the Colts, Matt Ryan is just washed. I thought he was going to be an improvement on Carson Wentz. It's pretty much Carson Wentz light. For the Broncos, little did I know that Nathaniel Hackett has no idea how to coach an NFL offense. These are two of the worst offenses in the NFL. If you are looking at advanced analytics, the Colts have the literal worst offense in the entire NFL. If you look at if you're looking at DVOA, the Broncos have the 25th best offense in the NFL, which also means 7th worst. None of these teams are looking great. The Colts are coming off of a pretty gross loss to the Titans. The Broncos coming off of a pretty gross loss to the Raiders. Not a lot of intrigue here, but it's Thursday Night Football, so we're going to watch it. Because this game is being played in Denver, presumably that is why the Broncos are favorites at minus 174 is the best moneyline odds you can get. Looks like that is on FanDuel. Looking at all the other books, not really seeing a ton of value on the Broncos moneyline at this rate. BetOnline has them at minus 180, Bookmaker minus 185, and then Pinnacle at minus 179. All pricing it a little bit, more favorably, giving the Broncos a little bit higher chance to win than the Broncos a higher chance to win than FanDuel, but none of them is giving you a positive expected value bet. And the minus 174 odds, not great. On the Colts side, same logic here. The best odds you can get are plus 160, but BetOnline and Bookmaker are giving you those odds. Pinnacle's giving you plus 159. No value here on the Colts. What I do find interesting is looking at the spread. So the spread is at 3 or 3.5, depending on where you look. But this half-point number is really, really important to get above if you are betting on a favorite. The Broncos win on a last-second field goal. They win by 3. This bet pushes. This 3.5 loses. So I think that getting this minus 3 number is very important towards beating the closing line in the long run. It's also important because if the Colts, the Colts are up by 3, Broncos score a touchdown, go up by 4, that would have won both of these bets, but it's still important to get above that field goal number. So I actually like the Broncos at minus 3, at minus 120 on WynnBET. I'm going to put a unit on that one, the Broncos minus 3. Let me go ahead and add this one to my bet tracker as well. My logic here, Broncos defense, as bad as the offense has been, their defense has generally been good. Now, I know they just gave up 32 points to the Raiders, but the Raiders really needed that game. I mean, they were 0-3. They played with a level of desperation that, the Broncos just couldn't quite match. Broncos were at 2-1 despite winning 2 horrible wins. Not really proud of their wins against the Texans and the 49ers, but they were 2-1, didn't have the same sense of urgency. Now, both of these teams do, right? The Colts, they gave their best shot last week against the Chiefs when they were 0-2. They did win that game, which was good, but they didn't look good doing so. And now, the main reason why I like the Broncos in this one, Jonathan Taylor is hurt. Now, his ankle injury isn't believed to be serious, but for a running back on a short week with an ankle injury, even if he plays, you wonder how effective he's even going to be. And we haven't quite seen the Jonathan Taylor that we saw last year. I saw a stat that he's only like 22nd in running backs in terms of fantasy points. Now, obviously, fantasy doesn't mean everything, but what it does mean is production. And the production isn't quite there yet for Jonathan Taylor. And now, even if he plays, he's going against a very, very good Broncos defense, like I mentioned, that is 8th in the NFL in terms of DVOA. Despite how horrific the offense has been, the defense has always been there. So Matt Ryan is like eminently sackable. He's the most sackable quarterback in the entire NFL. Now they don't really even have the run game to lean on. I like the Broncos a lot in this one, so I like them in for a unit at minus 3 at minus 120 odds on WynnBET. In terms of the total, if you want to open this in a new tab just to pull up where every sportsbook prices the total at. For me, I actually like for my handicapping purposes, I would guess this game goes under. But there's no value here on the total at all. As you can see, if you want, they're actually the best value is getting the over at 43 at minus 118 on BetRivers. Still not a positive expected value play if you remove the VIG. And same logic here if you want to get them at minus 109 at 43.5. Not going to be a plus EV play. So I'm going to go ahead and sit out the total, not really seeing any value here, even though for handicapping purposes, I would guess that it goes under the 32nd best against the 25th best, meaning the worst versus the 7th worst. Not great in terms of an offensive explosion type of game. Both defenses are good too. I mentioned that the Broncos are 8th. I mentioned, or might have mentioned, but the Colts are 14th. So even with as bad as their offenses have been, the defenses have been stout. But I will go ahead and sit out a play on the total here. Stick to my spread play. And last I checked, there weren't any positive EV plays yet in terms of looking at the OddsJam positive expected value page. I can look again. Yeah, there's none on here yet as player props haven't been posted yet. So only the main lines, none of the alternate lines or anything like that. Alternate markets have been posted. But so in terms of this betting preview, I like the Broncos at -3 for handicapping purposes. Also found some value as every book priced this at 3.5. In terms of handicapping, Colts have the worst offense in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor is banged up. I just don't think they'll be able to do anything. And at least the Broncos will be at home, and they showed some signs of life on offense last week. So we will see. But in terms of this Thursday night betting preview, official bet, Broncos -3 against the Colts. And that's it. So if you're tailing this bet, you're tailing me on the Broncos, let me know. Would love to hear it. But that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.